Yo, what's up? This your boy Rob, aka Novelty Life, coming at y'all with another 365 Fit Motivation video. And today's video is going to be part 2 of gym therapy. As I stated in the first video, the gym can be a great source of therapy, relieving stress, ridding yourself of anxiety, just getting your entire mental state under control, because you have to recognize in order to build your body, you have to first build your mind. See, it starts up here. And that's what a lot of people fail to realize, is that it doesn't start by just saying, I want to build a certain type of body. It starts by saying, hey, what can I do within my mind to build this body? What can I do to control my emotions or control my way of thinking, so forth and so forth. Gym therapy is vital for not only your sense of health, but your sense of clarity and allowing yourself to open so many doors within your life. So in part 2 of this, I'm going to go deeper into why I view the gym as a sense of therapy in my life, and why culinary also became a portion of like a therapy to quote unquote cope with what was going on within my life as a younger boy, dealing with past traumas in a sense. As I stepped out of college in December of 2014 with my journalism degree, I was quote unquote in a position to say, oh, I've made it this far. I got my degree. I'm getting ready to go work in the corporate world for uh, a company, blase. That was the rhetoric that I was telling myself the entire time 5 years ago, coming out of college. I was like, I'm gonna get this job, I'm gonna get this good salary, it's gonna be sweet, you know. And when it didn't happen, it wasn't so much that I was devastated that it didn't happen. It was just so much that I put so much time and energy and effort into trying to get the job that I saw that was supposed to be for me, in a sense. I was like, oh, I worked hard to get this degree for 5 years in college, and even though I had fun, but I'm like, I worked so hard to get this degree, but yeah, I can't get a job. I had good grades. I did some internships, and yet I can't get a job to save my life within this field. So that one put me in a downward spiral but upward spiral place, in a sense. It was like a two-way street, in a sense, that I really didn't understand 5 years ago that I understand now, versus where I was supposed to be going, or where I thought I was supposed to be going. As I look back at me coming out of college, I recognize that in me not being able to find that job, I had to make certain choices as an adult and do certain things, like just go work a job that I probably didn't really like, but I could make do with that job and do what I have to do as far as that job providing an income. And I had always done some type of culinary when I was in college, working on a cafeteria or working for a restaurant, just to make ends meet and pay my bills, taught me a lot in the culinary industry. And this was a big stretch from the 9-year-old boy who used to lay on the floor in his parents' house or apartment and write stories, make up stories. This was a long stretch, and I would think to myself, even outside of college, the 3 or so years that the 4 years that I continued to work in the culinary industry, starting with Whole Foods, jumping to UIC, it continued to bug my mind that I was doing something that I had never really wanted to be a part of, never really wanted to do, something I just did to make ends meet, in a sense. Did to pretty much do what I have to do as far as being a person who can provide for myself. So working at Whole Foods as a cook was beautiful. It was dope. It was some of the best times that I've had, in my young adult life, having fun with friends and, just learning the trade of cooking, learning different recipes. I took that from college into my adult life due to circumstance. But all in all, the whole time while I was working as a cook, I was putting in applications for journalism, trying to make this career field work, trying to just do what I felt was the thing that I had always been going for. Not realizing that the one thing I always had been going for was the one thing I kept running away from. Truth be told, kept running away from it left and right every day, to the point where working at Whole Foods and working as a cook taught me nutrition, taught me health. And you have to understand, I had always been this 350-pound young man, adolescent, child. I had always been overweight. And so being overweight, I had always had this, I wouldn't call it so much insecurity, because I just didn't really pay attention. I didn't see myself as being overweight when I was younger. I really didn't. I just saw myself as being this kid who didn't really fit in. And when I say didn't fit in, didn't even want to fit in, for that matter. Like, I was that kid who read books and watched random videos and stuff and didn't really care about the in crowd. And even today, at 29, I can honestly say I do not care to be on the in crowd. I don't really care who knows me. I don't care who don't know me. If you love me, you love me. You don't, you don't. That's your prerogative. And at the same time, it's like I didn't see certain things when I was younger. I didn't really have the quote unquote like bad experience as a overweight kid. I didn't get picked on and bullied like I would what like some people might say they got picked on and bullied. I didn't really get picked on and bullied. I got name called, but I didn't take offense to it. I didn't get sensitive over it. I didn't let the name calling kind of affect me in a sense. I was so used to living a life of somewhat struggle, living with my father anyway. So it didn't really bother me when people said certain things. It just went in one ear out the other, and I continued to do my own thing. I continued to be that person who just said, I'm going to do me. All in all, trying to gain the strength to lose weight, working out day in, day out, but I had been doing it for the wrong reasons when I was younger. Now, working at Whole Foods in my adult life taught me to be able to operate on a new level of thinking when it pertains to what I had always been trying to do for myself. I had always been trying to lose weight. Whole Foods taught me how to be nutrition minded when it pertains to the food I was eating. It taught me by actually working with recipes that there's a certain amount of things that can go into the food and a certain amount of calories that I can be taking in on a day-to-day basis that will make a difference on how my body turns out, the size I get. So stepping into Whole Foods in 2015, I literally told one of my coworkers while working up north, like, hey, I'm gonna get my body in shape. I'm gonna start working out. It wasn't so much of I didn't have this image in my head of, or I kind of did see somewhat of an image, but I didn't dwell on the image. I just saw what I could potentially think of myself as, and then I went to the grind in the gym working out. This is why I was working at Whole Foods, all in all, trying to just pay my father some money or wherever I was living, trying to take care of bills and stuff like that, the best of my ability for the type of money I was actually making. And it allowed me to literally take a step back and see what I was doing wrong my entire life when it pertains to eating. Like I had originally mentioned in the previous video, pounds of chicken, a piece of puffs, every day after high school, just unhealthy eating habits. You know, my father had certain habits and eating habits that I adapted to because 9 times out of 10, when you live in a certain environment with a person, you're going to actually pick up the habits of the other person unless you're willing to just say, I'm going to do my own thing, which is probably the best thing to do. You know, so as I'm working at Whole Foods, I'm going to the gym, I'm working out, I'm getting my body in shape. 1 year goes by, 2 years go by, and next thing I know, people are telling me, yo, Rob, you an inspiration. Yo, like, how did you do it? What did you do? And I'm just like, I worked out. I'm like, I worked out. I put my body to the grind. I sweated tears. You know, no, but what did you do? What did you do? Like, what was the secret? Well, I worked out. I ate healthy. I had cheat days. I didn't go crazy over it. I didn't think, oh, I can't eat pizza puffs, or I didn't think I can't eat pizza bites. And you can ask certain people. I probably brought a bag of pizza bites home, 50 pack of pizza bites, or 50 pizza bites in one pack, and would literally eat that while working out in the gym because I had my fat cravings while I was losing weight. You know, this is around 2016, 2017. I'm losing weight. I still have these fat cravings. You have to understand, before I was able to pack on the muscle, my body had to shed a lot of the fat. So I'm still eating unhealthy food. I'm working out in the gym every day. And it wasn't until roughly like 2017 that I actually started to build muscle and get my body to a certain level physically. And it was at that point when somebody at LA Fitness approached me about being a personal trainer. You know, up to that point, I had never really thought about it. It just something that I saw other trainers training. And I would work out with my cousin and his friends in my uncle's basement, and I never thought about training like that. I was just working out for fun. It was a fun thing for me, you know, and it became a lifestyle versus actually thinking of it as a career, you know, and then push forward once they did approach me about being a trainer, and it was approaching me about from a couple of people who I was helping at Whole Foods as well, you know, talk to me like, oh, you got the good insight. You ever think about being a trainer? So naturally I was like, well, I like what I do. I like what I've done for myself. And if I can duplicate it, then why not? You know, what do I have to lose? I'm not able to get a job in my field as a journalist. I'm not able to get a job as, you know, working in a corporate news station right now. So what do I have to lose? I'm cooking, fitness, they go hand in hand. So push forward, I take up the ACE as my certification. I'm studying, I'm learning, I'm failing because I'm learning a lot of new information, new terminology about the body that my brain had never thought to learn when I was in college. And even when I was in college, I didn't get the best grades. I didn't put my mind to the focus of trying to actually, you know, get the best results out of college. It was literally an escape for me. And that's, you know, we all go to college for different reasons. For me, college was strictly an escape. I was escaping my reality. I was saying, you know what, I don't want to dwell on anything going on at home. I barely went home while I was in college. And it was simply because I just wanted to zone in on me, literally. So I made a lot of mistakes, that to be said. And push forward from being a personal trainer. I ended up actually working at LA Fitness. I had quit Whole Foods randomly, took a risk, which I don't regret taking that risk. It put a lot of damage on things. I can't knock the risk that I took. It was a risk. And sometimes in life, you take a risk. Sometimes in life, you make decisions that other people won't make. But in making the decisions that other people won't make, you tend to try to make yourself better than you were yesterday. And a risk at times can be, to one person, a risk can be very scary and something they never want to do. But to another person, a risk is the overlapping truth to what they can become out here, you know. And it was at this point that things started to go downward spiral for me, because I did take a risk, and up to that point I was making good money at Whole Foods. I had just got a promotion, in a sense, where they were giving me a promotion to be a receiver, which meant I was going to go from making like $12 an hour to maybe $15, $16 an hour as a receiving position, working over or working with a team over a group of individuals, and not actually having to deal with what I was originally dealing with as far as a front end worker on the cook line. But I turned it down and I quit the job when everybody else was telling me, "Oh, don't quit the job, don't quit the job." So you think about it, I put myself into a mental depression from leaving that job and then going to LA Fitness, not realizing like, thinking it's gonna be all sweet. I'm gonna have all these clients coming in, and I'm gonna be, training people, and it's gonna be good. Looking back on it, I probably shouldn't have quit that job. But it was a risk that I had to take. And if I didn't take it, I wouldn't learn the learning lessons from taking it, in a sense, And it was at this point that I was working at LA Fitness. I was only working there. They wanted me there from, let's say, 6 in the morning to about 8 at night. And I was getting the bare minimum clients because I was new. And even when I was there up to a year, it was just too sporadic across the board, where this period in time you're up, then this period in time you're down. And there were days when I was only bringing home maybe a $200 check. And so I had to make the big boy decision and was like, okay, let me go back to working in cooking. So I went back to doing what I originally had ran away from, because I didn't fully want to be cooking anymore, because it was just something I did to pay my way through college and something I did to have the building blocks from, me graduating college, in a sense. So working at UIC, I was literally, not happy working there. And the whole time I'm working at UIC, I have my planner in my hand. I have notebooks in my hand, in my bag and everything, books. I'm coming in with different stuff. I picked up some clients from there and I started training them in the gym while working at LA Fitness. But I wasn't giving LA Fitness no time. And even while I was working at UIC, the bosses, their supervisors and stuff like that would look at me and be like, hey, have a sense of urgency for the job. And, I would look at them and tell them, hey, I got a sense of urgency. I'm doing it. I'm actually already done. And you have to understand, the way my mind and my brain operates, I can get things done a lot faster when it's something I don't really want to do for people. When somebody don't really want to do, I can get it done like that. So I will get my job done within 3 to 4 hours at UIC, and I will grab my planner and literally go to town. When I say I'll be at the job writing this and writing that, going over business plans, doing this, my boss will witness this stuff, and they wanted to promote me at UIC. They wanted to make me supervisor at UIC, over the kitchen. And I'm just like, or over the, the staff in general, and I'm just like, I don't really want to do that. I'm talking to the woman I love. I'm telling her how, this is the potential of what this job is potentially offering me, in a sense. And I'm just like, I don't really want to do this. I don't really want to do this. Whole time things going on in my relationship with her and me and where we were living and the stresses of the world was just getting to me. And this is where the gym therapy comes in, into mix. I was enjoying being able to go to the gym, focus on my body, work out, train really good, and then it happened. LA Fitness let me go. They told me, you don't have enough time for us. You're not dedicated to be here. You train really well. You're a good fitness trainer. It's just your availability and your time doesn't fit what we need. And so, out of all that, I heard I'm not a good trainer. I'm not a good at personal training. I suck at personal training. It's like that's what I heard, but that's not what they expressed to me. You know, in reality, it was more of me looking at the job and realizing for myself at LA Fitness, like I didn't have the time for them. At the same time, it sent me through a negative mental spiral due to the fact that I was like, okay, what do I do now? This is a part of my income that just been cut. And mind you, I'm only making a certain amount of money at UIC and bringing an additional like maybe 300 some dollars from LA Fitness. And yes, that ain't much, but it's still adding to the pot every 2 weeks. So I'm going from bringing in like a thousand and something to bringing in like 800 something on one job versus the two jobs I was working. And I'm just like, wow, I can't make ends meet. And at this time, I'm working, living with the young lady, or she's living with me at the time, and just grinding, doing what I gotta do, and it sent me through that negative spiral. So, things going on at home, stresses of the house, stresses from those in my life, from being pulled this way, being pulled that way. And I wasn't the only one going through stresses, to say. I would never say like, oh, I was the only one who was going through some up and downs while living in an apartment full of people. I was stressed. I literally was going insane. And it didn't help that my job had let me go. I have to be there for the woman I love, have to be there for my family, and felt like I was being in a tug of war situation when it pertained to the house, bills, finances, and just saying, God, give me a break. That's the main thing my mind was thinking, saying, God, give me a break, But it's something I had to go through or grow through. I had to. And as this was uninspiring, or as this was going on, there was things that was happening negative within my relationship, that I was dealing with, things that I was doing, not even realizing that I was doing within my relationship that could be considered very negative. And it takes a strong man to be like, yo, I was doing some fucked up shit. Like, I wasn't in my right frame of mind, and I should have been. But the stresses of the world, and the stresses of things going on around me, and multiple things piling up, got the best of me. And I'm man enough to say that these things got the best of me. I would never be like, oh, it's not, it's that fault. It ain't my fault. No, I take full responsibility for my actions, because that's all I can do is take full responsibility for my actions. Can't speak for everybody else, but for my actions, I'll always take full responsibility for them. And so things went crazy. I lost my job at LA Fitness, and by the end of the year, around Christmas time, let's say this is roughly 2019, right before COVID happened. Um, my girl literally saw me write something at my mom's house that was, in my opinion, the worst position I can say I've ever been in. For her to see me in that state messed me up because I didn't want her to see what I had wrote, for one. And for two, I knew I was better than that. I knew there was more in me and I wasn't fully living it out. And I am taking responsibility for my actions, for things going on in my life, trying to support myself, trying to support the woman I'm with, trying to be equal teammates with her, and be cooperative. But the whole time, I have this negative energy circling around me because everything that's going on in my life, and I'm letting it affect me, which means it's affecting my relationship, which means it's affecting my own life in a sense, and the positive, good things coming into my life. It's affecting those things. So I told myself after writing that negative note, I told myself, okay, I'm going to make a change. I'm going to get back out and start hanging with my friends. I'm going to meet new people, have fun, continue to focus on my own development and growth, moving into 2020. And I'm going to love this woman and love her for who she is and not for who, I think she should be or the world thinks she should be, but just love her for who she is. I had to literally tell myself that at the end of 2019. But the problem with telling myself that in 2019 was that I, like most of you all out there, did not realize, did not realize that COVID-19 was about to come into play in our lives in 2020. So me walking into 2020, it's a new year. I got a positive attitude about it. I'm like, okay, my girlfriend gonna be able to do her thing. We're gonna grind. We're gonna get ourselves our own place and everything. I'm just like, okay, boom. It's finna be sunshines and rainbows. Wrong. Wrong. God came in with a real quick one. He said, COVID-19, go and fuck up their life. Go and fuck up their life. I lost 2 jobs. My lady lost her job. And so we just stress, trying to figure out how to make it. And it took, at that point, the dark side of me came out. The dark side came out. When I say he reared his head like it wasn't no joke, and this is when I tell people all the time, I'm not a nice guy, and I'm not a bad boy either, but I'm damn sure not a nice guy. Like, well, he came out with a vengeance. He started to not give a fuck about what everybody was saying. He just kept doing what he had to do because he had things to take care of, people who was dependent on him, and so he just maneuvered. Things I really love got put on the back burner. Except at the same time, I was still working diligently on my business, but the going to the gym was kind of like caved. I didn't go to the gym much. I tried to work out as best I could in the crib and get my body to stay where it originally was at, but I didn't fully have a grasp of working out from home during COVID. But when I say COVID literally made me look at myself as a man and say, I just got shut down from 2 jobs. I had just applied to export and got the job. Shut down from 2 jobs, LA export and UIC, and literally was getting unemployment. But before the unemployment kicked in, it took about 2 months to kick in fully. So I'm just like in a state of confusion, scarcity, and forgetting all the abundance that God has to actually offer and that I have to offer. Forgetting all the abundance. I was in a position to, my mind was like, if I can't take care of myself, if I can't provide a safe space for myself, how can I provide a safe space for the woman I love, you know, or a family? That's the main thing was going through my head during COVID. And it was scary. It was real life scary, you know. But it also taught me something like this is something I never want my family to go through again. COVID is something I never want anybody to really go through again. Once all this is done and over, it's gonna take some time, but it will be. But I'm like, this is something I never want anybody to go through again. And when I say, um, that's not to say that my relationship was going, good or bad. It's been beautiful. Actually it's a beautiful relationship, in my opinion. We have our ups, we have our downs, like anybody else. But things were getting crazy. You're spending so much time with the person, you love that person, and you're trying to continue to grow. You're looking for jobs. You're confused on what's going to come your way, and you have a scarcity mindset going on the entire COVID, going on the entire time until I started to focus more on my business and tell myself, okay, I'm gonna do this and do that. August come around, and I'm just like, something has to change. I got this new job coming up. I had already let go or turned down a job working at the hospital as a patient transport. Just it didn't feel like me. And I'm like, okay, the post office. My family has a long history with the post office, apparently, and I'm now a third generation postal employee. And I'm just like, let me see what this can do. Because I obviously have to take care of myself, and I obviously have to take care of my family. And it was at that point, stepping into the post office, I'm just like, okay, what can I do to benefit my family, benefit myself and the woman I love? I don't have a car. I'm commuting to the job on the train. Um, 2 hours there on the 2 or so hours there on the train, 2 or so hours home. I'm getting home to our apartment and I'm tired, I'm stressed. I'm not realizing that she's stressed. I'm not realizing that there's things going on both ends of everything we're doing that's making us stress because we're adults and we gotta do adult things. And we can't let these adult things get us down. So I'm just grinding it out, working hard from August to maybe October. I worked hard. I did overtime, saved up enough money to actually, be able to take my lady out to go on, certain type of dates. And then at the same time, saved up enough money to be able to buy me a car. And it might not be the car that I have in my dreams, but it's a start. And I love this car. Don't plan on getting rid of it. It's a start. And so I told myself, you gotta get yourself together. You gotta do what you gotta do because you're hurting yourself over finances and things that you just cannot control. You're hurting yourself. So I literally, from August to December, I took massive focus and massive action on getting myself together. Mind you, talking to the woman I love and letting her be an influence in my life and tell me certain things that I was doing that was quote unquote damaging in a sense, and letting that be the building blocks for who I will become. Because it's in my opinion, when you let a woman, a real woman, actually give you insight on the things that you're doing that may come off as may come off as negative or may come off as damaging to you and damaging to her or whatever, it's vital to you that you learn these things and you fix them, not just let them be. So I took on therapy. I've recently taken on meditation. I've taken on other hobbies like self-evaluation. And when I say self-evaluation, I mean self-research, like listening to videos, reading books, and just learning different things that I can't just innately know. And these things have contributed into my therapy sessions in a sense. And when I say all this to say, like, gym or going to the gym and working out in the weight room was one of the first things that was my therapy. So was food. And you think about it, so was food, was a sense of therapy. Even though I was eating the wrong foods, those wrong foods were filling some type of emotional kind of like void in a sense. And that was therapy within itself. And not good therapy though. That was like, hey, you, my dog acting a fool. That was not good therapy. And so all this to say that over your course of your journey in life itself, whether it's in the gym or whether it's whatever you're going to be trying to do, therapy is essential for your growth. I can honestly say, no matter who you are, whether you are a woman, whether you are a man, whether you have had therapy in the past, therapy is something that all men and women should partake in over the course of your life. Never think that it is enough for you to handle the stresses of the world and the stresses of yourself by yourself. Having someone to talk to that is not your mother, not your sister, not your brothers, not your girlfriend, not your coworkers. Having someone who is outside of you, outside of your circle, is sometimes very vital to your mental development, because going to the people in your life to talk to them is good, but they're going to give you subjective opinions based on, I love you and I don't want you to be hurting, rather than give you things that's going to quickly or actually analyze you as a person. A third party person can actually analyze you without having any emotional connection with you, the way a family member will have emotional connection with you and to you for the things that you're going through. So you have to understand that the gym and using it as therapy was the catalyst for everything that I'm doing currently right now, whether it's my fitness business, my cooking, my writing, or anything I'm trying to do right now. Therapy is essential that I do it so that I can control the things going on in my mind, especially with the fact that I can be an overthinker. I could be an overthinker. Sometimes I'm a loner. I consider myself to be a very lone wolf, but I have a lot of friends and I know how to jump in and out of certain social circles and stuff like that. It's not so much that I don't want to be in the setting with everybody else and be sociable, is that at times I kind of feel the need to be alone and not be a part of the pack. I don't thrive off the pack mindset. I don't thrive off of that. I thrive off of the, I do me. I'm mysterious, and I'm this person who just, you can't really get quite a good read on them, but that's a beautiful thing for me because it keeps me grounded in what I want to create for my life, so this all to say that life is going to get you in many different ways. It's going to hit you in many different ways, and you got to be strong. You got to be mentally, emotionally, physically strong to handle so many things that is going to come after you in life. And with that being the case, you have to understand that you're doing everything you're doing for a reason. There is a reason why you're doing what you're doing. It might not make sense the way it didn't make sense for me back in 2015 after I graduated from college, moving all the way into now in 2021, how it makes sense for me now. It didn't make sense then, but it makes sense now, and that's the beauty of it. It's not supposed to make sense when it first happened, when things are first going on. You're supposed to actually learn and grow. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to disappoint people, get the help, seek the help, love the help, and see your life grow in many ways that you never thought possible. It's your boy, Rob. This has been another 365 Fit Motivation video, Gym Therapy Part 2. If you like the video, like what you heard, or you got any kind of questions or comments, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and holler back at your boy.